everyone. I'm so excited to be here today with Mandie. Mandie was part of, or is currently part of the Voyage 5 in Body by Design, and we just finished phase one. She was our phase one winner, and she released a total of 27.8 pounds during this phase alone. So, what makes this even more powerful is that Mandie has been on this journey with me for almost a year now, right? It's been about a year.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. And in that time, she released a total of 60.8 pounds and 43 inches. So today, I wanted you to hear from her directly, not just about the numbers, but about the process, the mindset, the consistency, the struggles, and what made this different for her. So let's go back to the beginning. Before you started this journey, what were you struggling with the most when it came to your health, your weight loss, or consistency?
I think what I was struggling with most was just, I think the consistency aspect of it. I would have days and even like a few days where I could stay on a healthy eating plan. And then after a few days, I would just go back to what I did before. So really didn't have, I mean, I had people who were supporting me and who were telling me that I could do it, but I really didn't have like the accountability that I needed to be able to stay consistent.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. I think most of us struggle with that. So, how were you feeling physically or emotionally at that time?
So physically, I felt like it was really difficult to even move and just do like daily activities. I felt like in the morning, even just getting up and moving around until I'd had a shower and really moved around for a little bit, I felt like I was just super stiff and couldn't really do a whole lot. And it was just kind of miserable, like just feeling like I lived upstairs, so I was always having to go up and downstairs, and I just felt really out of breath all the time. Emotionally, I just was in a really hard place and just felt like I wasn't really sure that I could do this, and but I also knew like something had to change.
Yeah, so that's changed for you on the physical level through this program.
Yes.
How are you feeling now physically?
I feel a lot better. I still deal with some inflammation and some different things that I'm still working through, but it's so much easier to move around and to feel like I can actually like I can do my workouts now without feeling like I'm dying. So, um, and I feel like I'm able to go out and do things with people and not feel like I'm just really winded and not having any kind of stamina after just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that really makes a difference, doesn't it? So,
Mhm.
and then on an emotional level, you mentioned that you just really weren't feeling great and you were worried about being able to lose weight. How are you feeling now as you've been through this process emotionally?
I think I still struggle at times just because we're all human and we still have those times that we struggle. I've noticed that I'm a lot more positive about things than I was before. Even when I'm having a hard time or when I'm going through struggles, I can just know that I can do this because I've proven that I can and get back to what I know works. And the accountability has been really helpful as well, being able to have that support from people and knowing that they're all going through the same thing with me. And that has been really helpful emotionally as well.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear that. Okay, so let's go back to before then. What made you decide to join that program?
So I've tried several different things in the past and I've had some success with it. Like one program I had lost about 40 or 50 pounds, but I just gained it all back. So it was just really discouraging and I just knew that I needed to do something different. I also didn't want to be on a program where I had to buy prepackaged food and like eat stuff that really wasn't even real food. I was looking at some of the ingredients and some of the food that I was using from a previous program, and there was just all kinds of junk in it. I just didn't want to live that way anymore. Like, I wanted to be able to eat real foods and be able to lose weight and all of those things. Um, I had heard about your program and a program from someone else who coaches something similar. And I had thought about it, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know if I can do that or if I have the finances to be able to do that. And then at one point, I was like, you know what? I have to do something, and I can't just continue to keep doing this. And I just came to the point where it's like, I'm worth investing into myself. And that was the deciding factor for me. It was like, I'm going to try this because I've tried everything else. And if this doesn't work, then it'll just be another thing that I tried, but at least I'm going to try.
When you heard about Voyage 3, Body by Design, Was there anything that stood out to you before you started that was like, is this really something I think that I can do?
I think I had done a couple of like Facebook challenges and used the container system that we use in Body by Design. And I think that was like a jumping off point for me. I did that for a couple of weeks and it seemed doable. So I just would need to commit to doing it on a longer term basis. I was a little bit concerned about this 6 workouts a week because I was like, I've never done that before. I just figured that I would try it and see how it goes. And it's definitely doable. I think that's something that people need to know too is like all of the system is doable. Like it's not something that is out of reach.
Did you have anything else that kind of made you feel like maybe you wouldn't be able to succeed with it?
Yeah, I think it was just I knew that I needed the accountability, but it was like I'm not going to be with people that I really know, so how is this going to work?
Mhm.
Um, but I also think that sometimes it's better to be with people you don't know because then you don't have like, these preconceived ideas about people. I think another thing was I just wasn't really sure like how it would work or if I could do it.
You mentioned that you've tried some other things before, like prepared foods and stuff. Most of us have tried like a plethora of different programs. What did you feel was different about Body by Design Voyage 3 and now Voyage 5 compared to things that you've done in the past?
Exercise was one thing because most of the programs that I've done before, the reason that they were attractive is because it's like, oh, you can lose weight without having to exercise. Um, so I liked that aspect of it because I didn't really like working out or going to the gym, and it was hard on my body, and I felt like I was just in pain when I would do it. So also in the past, with Body by Design, there are supplements to do and things like that, but it's not as extreme as some of the other programs that I've done. One program that I was pretty successful on, I felt like I was constantly having to remember like what supplements to take and when to take them. And it was just really difficult because you had to take them like a certain time before meals and a certain time after meals. And it was just so hard to keep up with and so hard to stay on top of. And I felt like I wasn't getting the most success from it because I wasn't able to do all of that. And this one is just, I mean, yes, you have to keep track of your food and like there's a few supplements to take, but it's just so much easier and so much simpler than all of the other things.
What about mindset work? Did you have mindset work with anything else that you've done before?
There was really none of that with anything else. I had with a couple of the programs I've done, I had like a someone who was supposed to be coaching me, but they just weren't really it wasn't really effective. Like I would reach out to them and they would be like, "Oh, just keep on plan, like just keep doing what you're supposed to do." And I was just like, "Okay, it doesn't really help me because I don't like I've been doing that and I'm trying to do that, but I'm stuck and I don't really know what else to do from here." So I think the mindset work and meeting every week and going through those things and hearing from other people and hearing how they're dealing with different things has been really helpful.
That group support, it's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes.
How has that most benefited you?
I think it's been really good just because, like, your coach can be really supportive as well, but it's also really nice when you have group members who can encourage you and who can say, like, yeah, I dealt with that. Like, here's how I overcame that. Or, like, I haven't dealt with that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and how this works for you. And it's just nice to know that you're learning from other people, but they're also learning from you. And it kind of gives you that, um, just like that good feeling of like, I'm helping out as I'm being helped by the other people in the group.
So we just finished phase one of Voyage 5. You released 27.8 pounds. What do you think made the biggest difference for you during this phase?
I think it was really the accountability and just knowing that, like when I made these choices, like I had committed to like basically telling on myself and like telling people what choices I had made and like being accountable for what I did. And not in a way that's like brought like shame to me, but a way that was just like, yeah, I messed up. Here's what I'm doing to move forward. So it wasn't just like a thing where you're talking about something that you did that wasn't the right choices, but you're actually like you're being accountable for them, but you're also trying to figure out a way to move forward. And you have that support of people. I had some of the ladies who were like, yeah, I know that you've been traveling, you've been doing all this stuff, and like, it's really hard, but you've still been checking in, like you've still been doing all this stuff and you haven't just completely fallen off. And that was really helpful and impactful for me because it's like, yeah, there have been some times that I haven't made the best choices, but I'm still here and I'm still working through it.
If you were not on the program and you went through the same situation and you were running solo with whatever, how do you think you would have handled that outside of the group?
I think it would have not been great. Like, I think I probably would have just given into the emotional eating and been like, whatever, I'm just going to eat what I want. Um, but it was really nice just to know that I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to give in to my old ways of doing things and that I had the support that I needed and I could talk with them about it.
What people learn inside of the program is that you don't have to be perfect to be successful.
Mhm.
It's about getting back on plan as soon as possible. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So was any part of your journey like 100% perfect?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's where so many people have such a problem. When you have other people that are there, it feels like, okay, I can pick up and keep going. And I have my team supporting me. So over the past year, you've lost the 60.8 pounds and 43 inches. What has changed for you? I know we talked about physically and emotionally. Have there been any other changes that you've noticed in that 1 year? I know you did your before and after picture recently. How did you feel about that?
I'm always amazed at the changes that I go through in just that little bit of time. And the ones that I just did recently were just from this phase. I haven't even done the ones from when I very first started because I feel like that would be even more of a dramatic difference. I think you don't realize how much you're really changing until you see those side by sides.
Yeah, you really do go through a lot of changes, and you just see those little changes each day, and you don't realize it until you do that. What about overall confidence, your clothes fitting? Does it feel nice to be able to just go buy clothes that are like a smaller size?
Yeah, I think when I first started Voyage 3, I was in like a size 18 and was just barely even staying in that one. Like, I felt like I was almost to the point where I had to go up a size. And now I'm like pretty securely in a size 12. Um, and like shirts, I was in like a 2X, and even then I felt like they were almost too small. And now I'm in like an extra large, but I just actually just bought a t-shirt recently and I was looking at it this morning. I'm like, this is actually a little bit too big for me. Um, so it's really nice to be able to like fit into things that I haven't worn in a really long time or buy new things that are in smaller sizes, and not be like shopping in the bigger sizes of things and be able to just look in the regular sizes. That's been a huge confidence booster too. And just feeling like I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm a lot better off than I was before.
Are there things that you do now that felt hard or impossible before?
I used to have a lot of knee problems, and it still is at times, but it's so much better than it used to be. Like, I don't feel like my knees are just like aching all the time like they used to. Um, yeah, I think just living daily life is easier than it used to be. I just moved out of an apartment and I was on the floor quite a bit, like moving around and doing things. And I was like, I wouldn't have been able to do this before I started Voyage 3. Because it was hard for me to even get on and off the floor. So just that was a big difference to me that I noticed.
Yeah, and you're moving further south, so you'll have to be dealing with more heat and humidity. That's probably going to be better handled now than it would have
Yeah.
before, right?
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting because someone who was helping me with stuff, she said, she's like, I think about it. If you would have had to do this last year at this time, she's like, you would have had a really hard time. And she's like, and I don't think you would have handled it as well as you did this time. So that was really encouraging just for like other people to see that too.
So we talked a little bit about mindset and how that made such a difference for you on this program. Was there a mindset shift that really helped you during this whole journey?
I think one of the biggest things for me was just thinking about the power of what I say and the power of not like toxic positivity where you're just like everything's great when like things are falling down around you, but just being more positive about things and being able to find that point of gratitude instead of just focusing on the problems all the time. That's been really big for me.
Let's talk about the hardest part of this journey for you. You mentioned that you were concerned about exercise. Was that the hardest thing for you, or was there something else?
I honestly think just staying consistent is the hardest part. I thought that exercise would be really difficult, and it was at first, like, especially finding a program that I really liked and would stick with. Um, I'm not someone who likes to just give up on things once I start them. So I would stay with a program even if I hated it until I finished it, because I just didn't want to quit on it. Um, but I think just staying consistent every day has been the most challenging part. I think the highest I've gotten was like 11 days of consistency. Um, and that felt really good. And it's something that you strive for and you try to get to. And it feels really good when you can get some days going.
So, whenever that consistency got hard for you, how did you keep going?
I think I just thought about where I've come from, and realized that I don't want to go back there again. When I see that I'm not being consistent, I just think about like the commitment that I made, and I just kind of hear like your voice in my head being like, "This is what you agreed to." I'm like, "Yes, this is what I agreed to, and I'm gonna stick with it because I'm not a quitter." So
What would you say to someone who thinks that they have to be perfect to succeed?
I would say it's not about perfection; it's more about consistency, and it's more about using the tools that you have and doing the best that you can with those tools. And as long as you're staying consistent a good amount of the time, you're going to see results.
So, from this phase one of Voyage 5, what were you most proud of during that time?
I think I was most proud of just being able to go back to what I knew to do and getting back on track and being able to move forward. Um, yeah, I was wondering how it would be since I've been through the program before. But it's even if you've been through it before, it's always different with a new group and getting to hear different perspectives on things. So I'm really glad that I decided to do it and keep going with it.
Did you notice that you could address some of those mindset issues and different topics on a different level?
Yeah, I think it forced me to think about things in a different way. It was not the first time I had heard it, so I was able to approach things from different angles and see them from different ways. I also thought like I'm not that same person anymore, so things will look different for me right now than they would have at the beginning of my journey like a year ago.
Well, Mandy, I know there are going to be women that are going to be watching this who feel stuck or discouraged or embarrassed. A lot of the ways you felt before you started the program, I'd be afraid to start again because I think women get to the point where we're just like, "Ugh, I've tried so many things. Maybe this is just how I am now. I'm just going to have to learn to live with this." And what would you say to that woman who wants to change but is afraid that she won't follow through?
Just consider that this program is different than probably other things that you might have done. The most important thing is to just get started and see how it works for you, and just know that it does work. Um, I think you say a lot if you follow the program and you follow the recipe, like you will see results. And I think that that is something that was proven to me when I did the program, when I did it to the way that it was supposed to be done. I would say, regardless of what you've tried in the past, this one is probably very different. It's not about just losing weight for a certain time, like it's a lifestyle change. And I know that we all hear that, like we always hear, oh, it has to be a lifestyle change. But you don't really realize that, like, this is something you can continue on for the rest of your life. It's not something where you have to keep buying this prepackaged stuff if you want to get back on losing weight again. Every other program that I've done, I always gain the weight back. It almost feels like a scam, like the other ones, because it's like, oh, you're gonna lose all this weight, but you're gonna gain it back, and you're gonna have to get back on our program again to lose it again. But Body by Design is not like that. Like you could go into maintenance and keep with this plan and keep going with it, and it can become a lifestyle change and it can become what you need um, to continue to be healthy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to it with the mindset changes. They can affect so many other parts of your life. You realize that there's this pattern of mindset that is like a thread through everything that you do, right?
Hmm. I've seen family members recently be like, "Oh, I just need to get in the right mindset for different things." And I was like, "You don't really think about it, but that really is a big part of success or failure is what your mindset is about things." Um, I think going into this program, I wasn't really sure if I could do this, and going through it and realizing that I could have some success with it really did make a huge change in my mindset as well.
What about someone who is waiting for life to calm down first? What would you tell them?
I would say that that's probably not ever going to happen. Like,
Yeah,
it's one of those things that you just have to start where you are and make it work. Because there's never going to be a good time to start something like this. There's always going to be things that come up. There's always going to be travel and events and different things that are going to happen that will try to derail you. And if you have the right strategies in place, you can work with those things and you can still be successful.
absolutely. That's so wonderful. Well, Mandy, I'm so, so proud of you. You didn't get here because everything was perfect. You got here because you kept showing up, you kept learning, you kept being honest, you kept doing the work. Your story is really going to encourage so many women who need to know that real change is possible. And it's not through perfection, but through consistency and accountability and support. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your journey with us. For those of you watching, Voyage 6 applications are opening soon. If you're interested, then just comment below or send me a message directly. All right. Thank you so much, Mandy.
All right. Thanks, Jen.